No intro today because we have breaking news. What's going on, everyone? We're here on a Sunday for CobraCast 199, and we have breaking news. Former President Joe Biden has been diagnosed with an aggressive form of prostate cancer, and this is all over the place right now. Everyone's talking about it. I certainly have my opinions on it, and I'm going to share my opinions. There's a lot going on today. But I'll just go ahead and say this right up front. I don't buy this at all. I don't buy this at all. Now, when I say I don't buy it, let me clarify what I mean by that. This is the post that I responded to. And I said, I'm not going to celebrate anyone being diagnosed with cancer, but I'm also not going to blindly believe news coming from people that lied to us for over a decade. If anything, I would believe they've known he's had it for longer than they're saying, but for some reason, they feel it's convenient to drop this information now. So my whole thing is why drop this information now? Because of the tapes that were released yesterday. How convenient of a time for you to turn complete anger and frustration into sympathy. That's what I believe right there. I believe that this is strategically being released. Do I believe that he has cancer? Yes. Do I believe that they just found out today? No. But this is just my speculation on the whole matter. And the reason that I speculate like this is because these people have lied to us for over a decade. They've lied to us about everything. They lied to us about an election. They lied to us about the flu. They lied to us about January 6th. They lied to us about Russia. They lied to us about every fucking thing. So why are they going to be honest now? There's some kind of strategy involved with this. Now, as I said yesterday, I'm very sensitive to anything to do with cancer. I don't talk about it much. I don't think it's something I should talk about very much because I think that there are people that have had far worse situations, and I'm not looking for sympathy at all. But like I said, years ago, I had to deal with a form of cancer that I had to be it cut off of me. And, it was on my shoulder, and it was a terrifying situation to go through. It was awful, but I'm lucky that, I didn't have anything extended beyond the stress of the situation. So I'm very sensitive to anything to do with cancer. But I'm also not stupid enough to fall for the Democrats and the people that have been behind this. I mean, these are the same people that told us for 4 years that Joe Biden was as healthy as any human being in the world. We were told Joe Biden's just the most healthy person. He's the sharpest version of Biden we've ever seen. When me and you were calling it out, when me and you were sitting here going, this guy's not qualified to be president of the United States in his current state. And we were banned. We were demonetized. We were fired from our jobs. All of these things happened. So I'm just supposed to believe you now? So I will clarify. I do believe that he probably has cancer. I just don't believe that they found out about it today. I believe that they've known about this, and this is to offset the terrible news that came out yesterday. Because what did I say about the news with the Biden tapes that were released and the audio that was released? I said this should be the biggest story in the world. This should be the biggest story in the world. Everyone should be talking about this. Everyone should be frustrated with this. This is massive. What's happening, what we're finding out, all the confirmation of it. And then one day later, here we go with this news story. So how's everybody doing today? Welcome into CobraCast 199 on a Sunday. What's up, Adrian Curry in the house? Swig of water for all the working men in the chat. And we also got some news with Dan Bongino and Kash Patel. I'll play that clip here in just a minute. And Sunday CobraCast. We had a Saturday CobraCast. Now we're having a Sunday CobraCast. And of course, this is huge news. Zinni Biscuit says praying for Biden. Nandy says 100% released now to distract from the her tapes. That's what I believe. I don't believe in coincidences with the mainstream media. or the Democrats or any crooked politicians. I just don't. Let's see. Fantastic Vixen Knox says, good day and hail. Did you see Caroline Levitt just said at the press, at press secretary, how Hassan and any footage should be shown of his hoax? Hassan hears about this and tries to sound confident, but is mauling in real time. I didn't see that. I didn't see that. It's about Hassan who? Hassan Piker? Is that what we're talking about? I don't understand what's that pertaining to. No, I haven't, though. I didn't see that. I've been paying attention to the Cash Patel Dan Bongino thing. And the now the Joe Biden thing. So did you see the latest messages of Trump on his True Social about Obama? I did see he was posting something about Obama over on True Social. But if you're just tuning in, we will get you caught up on everything. I know that I originally had this set for 4. But then of course all this news is breaking about Joe Biden. So I was like, well, let me just go ahead and go live right now. So we can get into all of this. And, let me see. Who's Elite Super Grunt is here. Frog Club is in the house. Alex of the Mountains. Joseph is here. Sean Gwynn is here. Booming Bob in the house. Soldieron. What's up, Soldieron? Fantastic Snot says, yes, Piker, he claimed he got detained by TSA. I heard about him getting detained. I heard about that. What's up, Nick, Drax, Grimlock, Andrew, Caleb, Anime Sketch, Stephen Brown, NDI, Hillbilly PB, Obi-Wan John with 5 gifted memberships. Let's go. Dark Schwartz rising in the house. Jessica's here. Dragon Wolf is here. Eric K in the house. Raptar's Hammer. Keenan. Wolfman Ryan. Saltzilla. Tay-Tay. The Joker. Angel. Hazel Enigma. Look at that, man. We got all awesome people here. Mandy F is here. Maximus BT says, where my breeds out. Patriotic Gestalt. I don't know what to think of the Epstein at this point, but what do I know? What I do know is if you go to MetaPC and use the promo code 199 at checkout, you get a discount. Look at that. That's very well said, sir. MetaPC promo code 199 and you get a discount. Let's go. Southeastern Kaiju says Gibbs Rule 39. No such thing as a coincidence. Brockatron says, my sister asked me about Trump in an apparent 25-minute speech that people claimed shows he has dementia. As far as I know, they're TikTok people. LOL. I have you heard or seen anything about this projection? It's 100% projection. And what you're going to see, and I'm going to predict this. I'm going to predict this right now. All right. The Biden news just broke. Leftists are going to start tweeting, especially on Blue Sky. They're going to say, why couldn't it be Trump? They're going to say, why couldn't it be Trump with the news of Joe Biden? Leftists are going to be crying, saying, why couldn't it be Trump? Mark my words, that will happen 100%. That will happen. And people need to be screenshotting it and exposing these pieces of shit for what they are. Dark Schwartz rising for $20 and says nothing. Bobo Yogi says early, but still a fig. Mowing grass later, y'all. Later, bro. Socrates McGoat says, praise the Lord. Happy Sunday. The Bearded Lady for $1. Thank you. McFly says, I just sent this super to troll you, and it's appreciated. If you're just tuning in, former President Joe Biden diagnosed with an aggressive form of prostate cancer. This news just broke. And I want to, be very clear about my stance on this. Do I believe that Joe Biden has cancer? More than likely, yes. Do I believe that they just found out about it today and it's just a coincidence that it's dropping with all of the controversy surrounding Joe Biden's presidency? I absolutely do not. I believe that if in fact he does have cancer, I believe that they've known about this for a while and they have been waiting for the right time to drop this news, because Joe Biden yesterday had these tapes released with the her tapes where we were talking about, his mental state, And he seemed to be, what was the report? A well-meaning elderly man. So that was what they determined Joe Biden was. He couldn't remember when his son died. He couldn't remember anything. He was making up stories. He was rambling about things that never happened. And you start to hear all of these stories about the media and the Democrats, and some Republicans were covering this up. And as I said, this should have been a massive story. This should have been worldwide news. Everyone should have been talking about this. This is just the tip of the iceberg. And not only around 24 hours later, suddenly we get this news that Joe Biden has an aggressive form of cancer. So I believe, and again, it's just me speculating. I have nothing to base this off of other than common sense and my own two eyes and ears that have been hearing these people lie to us for over a decade. So because these people have been lying to us for over a decade, these are the same people that told you couldn't visit your family member because of the flu. These are the same people that told you that 2020 was a safe and secure election. These are the same people that told you January 6th was worse than 9/11. It's the same people that told you that you can't say certain words on social media or your entire account and your livelihood will be completely banned from the internet. So now I'm supposed to believe what they're saying here. I don't believe it in terms of the timing. Absolutely don't. So that's the update on it. Mr. Scott says, I guarantee now the narrative will be that old people shouldn't be president and that Trump should step down because of his age. That's a great point right there. That's a great point. Gerald Armstrong says, remember when they said that Joe just had a stutter? Yep, absolutely. And listen, for anybody, because if the leftists are going to try that narrative that this is why Trump doesn't need to be president, that's already been addressed.
I just feel like a young man. I'm so young. I can't believe it. I'm the youngest person. I am a young, vibrant man. I look at Joe. I don't know about him. I don't know. Macho man, yeah.
There you go right there. He's just a young, vibrant man. I'm the youngest. Jim says, House trying to pass big, beautiful bill tonight. Yep. We'll see how that goes. But yes, the news of the day is Joe Biden diagnosed with an aggressive form of prostate cancer. So if you're just tuning in, that's where we are. Let's see right here. Eric says right here, can any doctors educate me? Does stage 4 prostate cancer, I don't know how to say this, we're over 4 months. Yes, if it's aggressive, nope, it has been there for years. They knew. They are just now deciding to tell us. Absolutely, it can. I have no idea. I'm no MD, but that takes at minimum 5 to 10 years to spread to the bone. There's a lot of Twitter doctors right now. There's a lot of Twitter doctors. Just like every time something happens, there's going to be a ton of people that know everything about everything. Jill was running the country. And if you're not aware of the tapes that released yesterday, let me go ahead and pull that up so I can show you. And again, one thing, if you're not subscribed to my D-Day Cobra Clips channel, you should, because even if you don't get to watch all of the live streams, 1-800-DANKY actually clips out the segments and re-uploads them over to D-Day Cobra Clips. Mods can drop a link to that. And that way, if you don't catch every CobraCast, you at least will get to see the highlights over there. So in terms of what happened yesterday, I got to find it really quickly. So many videos here that they uploaded. All eyes on President Trump. Got that. Here we go. Okay. So this is what dropped yesterday. And this is what, in my opinion, this is what the news of him having cancer dropping today. This is the reason for that, to distract from this.
Alert, we're still going through the audio just released of Biden's interview back in 2023 with special counsel Robert Hur. Remember, this was a 2-day interview in October of that year where Hur described him as, after doing the interview, as a well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory. Remember, he wasn't ultimately charged with anything. Axios obtained the audio, and in this part, Biden could not tell coherent stories. He claims he shot a bow and arrow and then embarrassed the Mongolian leader.
You know, I went to Mongolia
Before we hear this, this is downright embarrassing that this man was the leader of the free world, according to the Democrats. By the way, no one with a working brain and the slightest bit of common sense actually believes that he was in charge. But this is the person that they told you was in charge of the country and the world. This guy right here. And this is terrible for them. The optics of this is bad. This just released yesterday. And one day later, we're told that he has an aggressive form of cancer.
He shot a bow and arrow and then embarrassed the Mongolian leader.
You know, I went to Mongolia and great pictures. I unfortunately embarrassed the hell out of the leader of Mongolia. They were doing what they would do at the time of the invasion of the Mongols into Europe in the 800s. And so we're out in the middle of nowhere, and you're looking up on the hill and you see this tiny line. Now it's a 20-mile horse race with all these kids under the age of 16 on bareback racing to come down. And, you know, they're sumo wrestlers and doing everything they do. And so they walked over and they had a target, big bales of hay 100 yards away. And these guerrillas were, you know, taking shots. And I don't know if it's embarrassed me or to make a point, but they handed the bow and arrow. I'm not a bad archer. But the only problem they were if I could pull it back. So and pure luck, I hit the goddamn target. I really did.
That guy right there, just yesterday, we were told that that guy was the sharpest version of Joe Biden ever, because this is what Joe Scarborough said after those tapes, or after that interview was done right here. This is what Joe Scarborough told all of you.
But comparing that guy's mental state, I've said it for years now, he's cogent. Mm-hmm. But I undersold him when I said he was cogent. He's far beyond cogent. In fact, I think he's better than he's ever been, intellectually, analytically, because he's been around for 50 years. And, you know, I don't know if people know this or not, Biden used to be a hothead. Sometimes that Irishman would get in front of the reasoning. Sometimes he would say things he didn't want to say. This is, and I don't really, you know what, I don't really care. Start your tape right now, because I'm about to tell you the truth. And F you if you can't handle the truth. This version of Biden, intellectually, analytically, is the best Biden ever. Not a close second. And I've known him for years. The Brzezinskis have known him for 50 years. If it weren't the truth, I wouldn't say it.
This is what the media tried to tell us about Joe Biden. So these tapes, these Biden tapes, released yesterday. It becomes a huge story all over the place. And now suddenly today, the story drops that President Biden has been diagnosed with an aggressive form of prostate cancer. Do you believe it? I do not believe the timing. And again, I'm being very careful with my words. I'm not saying I do not believe I'm not saying that I'm not saying he doesn't have cancer. I'm saying I don't believe the timing of it. I believe that they have known this for a while and they were waiting for the right time to drop the information so they can get the sympathy card, because they don't think, because look, everyone is sensitive to the word cancer. Most of you have either experienced something with it or know someone that has had experience with it. It is the worst thing in the world. Repeating what I said yesterday, I have had my own personal experiences with cancer. It's horrible. It's a horrible experience to go through. It doesn't matter how serious it is or isn't. When you are told that you have cancer, it blows your entire world up. It's the worst. I can say that with firsthand experience. It was a tough process for me, and I didn't have the worst experience like most people do, but it still mentally destroys you. And I consider myself a pretty strong, mentally, I'm a pretty strong person. And this shit broke me for the process I went through. It's a couple of weeks. I explained it in detail. Don't really care to get into it again. For those 2 weeks, I was broken. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't function. I couldn't do anything. I was stressed out. I was scared to death. And then luckily, once I had the procedures done, they got it all out of my system, thankfully. But I would urge everyone to go to a dermatologist and get checked out. That's what I had to deal with. But the point being is that everyone is sensitive to cancer. But these Democrats, these people that locked us in our houses, not just Democrats, by the way, Republicans don't get a pass for this, but it was primarily driven by Democrats and also a lot of Republicans. They locked us in our house. They kept us away from our family. They kept us away from our friends. They kept us away from social gatherings. They kept us away from football games. They did everything they could to shut you down, put you in the house, and control your mind. And it worked for a short period of time. These are the same people that lied to us for decades. And now I'm just supposed to believe the timing of this. And I'm sorry, I don't. I don't believe the timing at all. Delusional Man says, let's go Brandon. Too Tired says, I would just have been snarky and said, remove the Oregon like his voter base did theirs. But it's in the bone already. Too late for him to politicize. Commodore Fan says, AEW is reporting Darby Allin made it to the top of Mount Everest. Darby Allin's a madman. Eric Case says, feel bad for Joe. His uncle was eaten by cannibals, and his son Bo not only died around 20 times different times. True part. He's seriously dated Kamala. Dark Schwartz Rise says, did this interview occur around the time we witnessed Tall Joe body double? I don't remember that. I'm not sure. I don't remember that one. Solis says, am I the only one who remembers Biden promising to cure cancer when running for president? I messaged the clip to you on X. I'll have to look that one up. I don't recall that. No, actually, did he not stutter? And didn't he say something similar to that? I think he did, actually. Fantastic Knox says, who needs to listen? Let's see. Who needs to listen about Kim Jong-un born on double rainbow surrounded by unicorns? Who great in golf when you can listen to Biden's achievements? Woo, that was a run-on sentence. Burrito Man for 19 months. Demo Mage Ross for 20 says Joe is probably firing off a brown pants rocket on the beach right now. He probably, and I mean, this is not to be mean. The man probably doesn't even understand the severity of the situation. And again, that's not to be mean. That's just the truth of the matter. Joe Biden probably can't even comprehend what's going on right now. The truth hurts, and that's the truth. He probably doesn't even understand it. Socrates McGoat says they planned on him resigning this year. Yeah, that's, you know what? And it's almost like anything else. Seeing their, they fully did not think Donald Trump was going to win the election. That's 100%. I believe that. The Democrats, the powers that be, the mainstream, they did not believe Trump would win. They believed that either Trump would be arrested or he would give up. I think that they never believed he would be arrested. I think that they believed that if they hammer him hard enough, that they wanted Trump to give up. That's what they want. They wanted Trump to give up. And they believed, hey, if we target this man, if we indict him, if we raid his house, if we target his business associates, if we target his family, he'll give up. And guess what? That didn't work. He wouldn't give up. So then they went to the next level. And we all know what happened in Butler, Pennsylvania. And you know what you did? You solidified him as the greatest legend in American history. that day in Butler, Pennsylvania, you solidified Donald Trump as the greatest legend of all time. When he stood up after being shot and said, fight, 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 it was over. You never stood a chance after that. And they still tried multiple times after that, by the way. But he was never supposed to be in this position, and yet here he is. Dan says he probably got cancer from all the drugs they're pumping into him to make him seem normal. Yeah, I firmly believe that they were gassing him up a lot. No doubt about it. Again, I'll repeat what I initially said when I heard about this. What I initially said on Nick Sorto's post right here. I'm not going to celebrate anyone being diagnosed with cancer, but I'm also not going to blindly believe news coming from people that lied to us for over a decade. If anything, I would believe they've known he's had it for longer than they're saying, but for some reason, they feel it's convenient to drop this information now. That is my stance on it right there. I am not denying that Joe Biden has cancer. I'm denying that they found out about it today. It's long clauses is probably bullshit to garner sympathy. That's 100% what I think. That's what I think. Let me see what some of the reaction is right now. Social media. Let's see. And of course, another thing they want is they want negative reactions so they can use that against President Trump. I would say be mindful of that. I can't remember the exact quote, but I remember Steven Crowder saying this years ago. And it's something people need to take into account. We live by a different set of rules than the left. Okay? We live by a different set of rules. That's just the truth of the matter. You have to be smarter than your enemy. You have to be smarter than your opponent. And right now, they would use any reactions negatively towards this news against President Trump. 100% they will use negative reactions towards this news against President Trump, and just be aware of that. Again, you're welcome to say whatever you want, but just understand that these freaks will use anything against President Trump. And I think that there's something even more going on that they want to distract from. This tells me that there's probably more bad stuff that is going to come out. You did have, and we're going to talk about the Kash Patel, Dan Bongino thing here in just a minute. While there is some really concerning things in that interview that they had, I watched almost all of the interview, and Kash and Dan Bongino actually had some really good things to say and some good answers. The Epstein stuff is a disaster. But if you watch the whole entire interview, it actually is a pretty good interview with Bongino and Kash Patel. And so overall, it's a very good interview. The problem is the Epstein stuff is being clipped out, and that is got a lot of people worked up, present party included, by the way. But they said in that interview, just a couple more weeks, and they're going to be dropping some major stuff, apparently. That's what they said. Kash Patel said it. That give me a couple of weeks. We got some major stuff to drop. And they also downplayed expectations on information on the assassination attempt from President Trump. They downplayed that there was any bombshells with that. Dan Bongino downplayed, like, hey, I'm here to be honest. We don't have like some big smoking gun of information on this. I don't want people to be, I don't want people to get their hopes up on that. And then the Epstein stuff, which again, I'll address that here in just a minute. I didn't like that, but we'll see. We'll see how that all plays out. But could there be more information surrounding Joe Biden? Yes, there could be. Mark of Reality says maybe President Joe should have stayed away from those koala bears in the truck stop bathrooms. Marks says it's insurance against any prosecution indictments. American Advocate says, I've heard prostate cancer can happen from not busting enough. Makes sense for liberal dudes. Women don't want their weak seed. What's interesting is the auto pin discussion is something that has gained a lot of traction since yesterday. And President Trump's been talking about the auto pen for a while. But when those tapes released yesterday, the auto pen discussion really picked up a ton of momentum. I think that is something that they do not want to be investigated, and they don't want people looking into it, because if the auto pen story can be confirmed, holy shit, the insane amount of things that could be uncovered are monumental. And I don't think they want anyone talking about that. Eric K says, Biden doll body double in Cobra. Dragon Dan says, those last few days we had the Comey post, Trump's post on Hillary, then this. How many more things do you think will go down this week? Honestly, I think that this is this news is happening for several different reasons. And I don't know how this is going to play moving forward. I mean, look, let's be clear. How old's Joe Biden? 80-something? I think he's like 80-something years old. Like, it's not that crazy to think that an 80-something-year-old man who's been completely out of his mind for the last 6 years is in this position. This isn't shocking news from that perspective. I mean, we're all conditioned at this point to think that Joe Biden wasn't doing well mentally, physically either. You could watch the man walk and you could tell he wasn't doing good mentally or physically. So this news is not some jarring thing where we're like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. I can't believe this. This is so shocking. This isn't that shocking, to be fair. It really isn't. So the shock value is just not there. Bill Dozer says, hot take, I am fine with him suffering at the end after he abused his daughter and other children. I hear you, man. I hear you. Brian Young says, Sweeney for yesterday. So Brian Young dropped a 200, we'll call it a proper 199. And I couldn't play Sweeney because I was doing the gaming stream. So I told him we'd make up for it. So there we go. That's for Brian Young. Everyone thank Brian Young for that. It's a celebration of your super chat, not anything else, okay? So there we go. Chat's very happy. I'm very happy. You're happy. I'm happy. We're all happy. Because, you know, this is what brings worlds together, okay? Paid money for a gift. You're damn right. First name, last name. Why wouldn't you? When it's that gift right there, okay? But thank you, Brian. And I will be doing a gaming stream tonight. By the way, we won like 7 matches in a row, or not in a row, but I think it was like 7 out of 11 matches. It was a lot of fun. So yes, I will be live on D-Day Cobra Gaming tonight. So it'll be a little bit later because we have a lot going on today. Neo Cortex says, I feel better. You know, you should. You should. Okay, let's see what's going on. I want to talk about the Dan Bongino stuff. All right, look at here. Patrick Bet David says, whether this diagnosis is recent or has been kept private until now, our thoughts and prayers are with President Biden during this time. He looked miserable the last 2 or 3 years of his job. I think everybody is questioning the fact that I don't think anybody actually believes that they just found this out. I think everybody understands that this has been going on for a long time. They have known about this for a long. In my humble opinion, I have nothing to base that off of. I'm just saying based on common sense and what we've seen from these evil people over the last few years. Let me address this one really quickly because this has been a big story today. Okay. So let's listen to Dan Bongino and Kash Patel right here.
You said Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide. People don't believe it.
Well, I mean, listen, they have a right to their opinion, but as someone who has worked as a public defender, as a prosecutor, who's been in that prison system, who's been in the Metropolitan Detention Center, who's been in segregated housing, you know a suicide when you see one, and that's what that was.
He killed himself. You want me to get, I've seen the whole file. He killed himself.
I know it's hard work.
Now, there's a lot going on here. Let me be clear, okay? Let me be very, very clear that I am not questioning what they've seen. I'm questioning their approach. So let's pull up my tweets to see so here's what I said. Both of these guys spent years talking about how corrupt the system was. They both became incredibly successful and rich by doing that. Now they're talking down to people because we doubt what they're saying. I'm not questioning whether Epstein did or didn't kill himself right now. My problem is how both of these guys pretended to be speaking for the people all of these years, and now suddenly, because they work for the government, they're now talking down to the same people for asking the same questions that these guys got famous for asking. That's my problem here. And it's like, your answer is, and again, let's listen to Kash Patel's answer one more time.
You said Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide. People don't believe it.
Well, I mean, listen, they have a right to their opinion, but as someone who has worked as a public defender, as a prosecutor, who's been...
So people have the right to their opinion, but as someone that's worked all of these things, my opinion matters more. When you were calling this stuff out, Kash Patel, you were calling people out that claimed that they were qualified. You're the one that said, why aren't they releasing the Epstein files right now? What's the holdup? You were calling it out. You were on podcast. You were talking shit just like I'm talking right now. You didn't care about the process and how qualified people were when you were calling all this shit out. You didn't care about the fact that these people had more information than you, but now we're supposed to care that you have qualifications? Why don't you sit there and go, yes, I understand people question this, and I totally respect that because I have been in that same situation, questioning all of this, and everyone has the right to question everything that we have seen for the last decade plus because this system has been corrupt, and it's very corrupt right now. Now, based on what I've seen, I am confident he can say it that way. I'm still not saying that will come off the right way. It comes off a lot better than you saying, well, I am qualified to make these assessments and I know more about. Fuck off. You got here by being a talking head. You got here by calling this shit out and questioning the legitimacy of everything. And now suddenly, you guys are smart enough to realize nobody's going to believe you. You guys... Dan Bongino's the biggest podcaster in the world. He knows people aren't going to believe this. Why are you talking like we should just believe you at face value? Tell us why you're saying that. Give us some actual substance behind it. Like, you know we're not going to believe it. These guys are at the top of the fucking food chain in this world. I'm a nobody. And I'm smart enough to realize that nobody's going to believe this shit. This is the same type of decision making where the developers of fucking Fortnite put an AI Vader in and gave the internet the power to do whatever they want and not realizing everybody was going to make racist jokes about it. How do you not know that? And how do you not know that people are not going to believe this? Of course these guys believe. They know that people weren't going to believe this. This is a terrible look. Now, again, I will urge people to go watch the entire interview. I think it's on the Fox News YouTube channel. It's a pretty good interview overall. Both of them do I would say I would give the overall interview a good 7.5, 8 out of 10. It's a pretty good interview if you listen to everything they're saying. But this Epstein stuff is terribly handled by them. And they're answering it from a perspective like they don't know people are going to be pissed and not believe them. It's a very tone-deaf way of approaching this. Why are you talking down to people and not to the people? Dan Bongino, the #1 podcaster in the world, is talking from a place of an elitist standpoint. Listen to what he fucking says. Listen to how Bongino says this.
You know a suicide when you see one, and that's what that was.
He killed himself. You want me to get, I've seen the whole file.
This is exactly what you questioned. This language and that behavior is exactly what you questioned before you became part of the system. Why am I supposed to believe you when you didn't believe the previous people that were saying this, Dan Bongino? Why should I believe you? Why should I believe you, Cash Patel, when you said, I'm going to pull fucking Cash Patel's shit up right now and show you what this guy said about the Epstein files and all that other bullshit. Cash Patel. I may not be able to find it now because that search result is going to be fucking crazy because of this new information. I'd love to find some of these old clips of Cash Patel. Is this one? Okay. This guy right here ain't the same guy. This ain't the same guy.
You need a 24/7 declassification office, whatever you want to call it. Transparency, truth, whatever. I don't care. Sits in the White House, reports directly to you, and you take incoming from the United States of America. I want JFK. I want the 9/11 files. I want this. I want that. All the FBI, and this is a tool, this is something we didn't cover. What the deep state uses the most to cover up their corruption is an illegal application of the classification system. Remember the Lovebirds text from, this is a beauty, the Lovebirds text from FBI, DOJ land, Russiagate, Strzok and Page were texting each other. Who they were running the Russiagate investigation against Trump. They were the head of the counterintelligence unit at the FBI. And they're having an extramarital affair together. Can't make this stuff up. They're sending each other texts about how much they hate Trump and are going to create an insurance policy to stop Trump. Then we finally find those text messages. You know what the FBI and DOJ do for like a year? Redact them to congressional investigators and congressional men and women running the oversight of their agency. That's just one example. But it gets even better. Here's the deep state full circle. Just last week, do you know what Strzok and Page received from the Department of Justice?
What?
A $1.5 million payout.
Does this sound like the same
to
guy?
settle a lawsuit that Strzok and Page brought for the improper disclosure of their personal text messages on FBI phones.
Doesn't sound like the same guy to me.
And the DOJ just rewarded them. They broke the law. They broke the chain of command. They broke every regulation there is in the FBI. They weaponized the system of justice against a political target they hated. We found those text messages, and we got them declassified finally in full when I became Deputy Director of National Intelligence. And the world has now seen them, and they can read them.
I mean, I got another clip right here. Listen, does this sound like the same guy?
And then when we go back to DOJ and FBI, we still don't have all the list, all the FISAs, all of the stuff they did to 275,000 Americans illegally in 1 year. Put that out there. I'm not saying put in the recipe on how to do it. We can keep the hood on the engine, but we can show the American people how they violated our rights. And
show the American people. Well, now you're just saying, well, I'm qualified. So I know people may disagree with me, but I'm qualified to tell you that Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. Or that he killed himself. That's what they're saying.
To me, what you said is the most important. Restoring trust.
Yes.
In our agencies and departments.
Restoring trust.
The way to do that is not to get a piñata and just punch him mercilessly and hoping for some bubble gum to pop out. The way to do that is to literally give the American people the truth. And that's what they feared about Donald Trump. He's going to come in there and maybe give him the Epstein list and maybe give him the P. Diddy list. You know, he's going to come up there and maybe do all these things, and they are terrified.
Yeah, I believe that's part of the reason why Jimmy Kimmel was crying last night on his program. But also, I believe that this is something that the American public desperately want. And most importantly, this is how you restore honor and how you restore trust. Now, many may not know, some will, that you are personally responsible for the research on the Russiagate collusion. Everything we know about Russiagate, and we know maybe like less than.
So, you know, this just does not sound like the same guy, Cash Patel. Just doesn't. And it's disappointing to say the least. It's really disappointing. I will repeat what I said. The majority of that interview they did was very good, and there was a lot of good information in there. But they both understand how serious the Epstein situation is. And to answer it the way they answered it, I don't think that's good at all. I don't think it's good at all. So, Dragon Dan says, I got that one. Let's see. Fantastic vs. Knox says the question is who had control of the auto pin. My guess is Jill Biden. Thoughts? Probably. I mean, you would think it would have had to be Jill Biden. She was right there. So, I mean, probably Jill Biden's probably the best guess. Mad Max says, Jeremy, I lost my mom and dad to cancer years ago and had a couple of years ago. I had basal skin cancer on my ear. I'm doing okay. So fuck cancer and fuck Biden. I hear you, brother. Fuck cancer for sure. Absolutely. That's about the most universal thing that you can that you can say. Adrian Curry for 10 says, Dan looks like he's afraid and pooping his pants in that video. Does he not? You're not wrong. Let me pull that back up because Bongino does look pretty uncomfortable. Let's see here.
Listen, they have himself to decide when you see one, and that's what that was.
He killed himself.
Like that, he just seems. This is a fiery, passionate dude who was really, really like at the top of the food chain in the podcasting world. Hundreds of thousands of people watching him. The reason that people love Trump is because he's never changed. When Trump became president, it's not like he said, I have to be more professional. I have to be more well-spoken. I have to be more proper. No, Trump continues to be a shit talker and a shit poster online, and he insults people because that's who we want him to be. I don't want Dan Bongino to be corporate Bongino. I want Bongino to be the man that he was on these podcasts, being passionate and being fiery. That's not, and I didn't watch Bongino consistently, by the way. I did not watch him that much, but the clips I saw, absolutely like a fiery personality, man. Chris Whiting says, not doing any gay shit. Love you. $10. Thank you. I appreciate it, brother. Piano Dean says, I swear Biden's decline actually started as far back as his 2012 VP debate. I noticed weird stuff back then, but no comparison to recent years. Chester Wolf, the Griffin says, I don't know, man. It looks like somebody put something in their ears. Is all too easy for deep state to show you a picture of what happened to you. Potentially. I mean, that's not off the table. The bearded lady says DOJ has the Epstein stuff as reported by Benny. Lying dog face pony soldier with the Get That membership. Too Tired says, are Cash and Dan being shown a fake file? Possibly. It's the whole thing's so confusing. I have no way of knowing. Act Natural says it's never going to come out. The info is so damning that it'll start another civil war. Kyle T says, not sure if you mentioned this already, but Biden literally said he had cancer back in 2012. That's right. I do remember that. Yes, he did. Biden did say that. Can somebody tag me in that clip? That's true. Biden did say that. I remember that. Tag me on Twitter if you can find that clip. Or Eric K, you can DM it to me. I'm looking at my mentions now. Biden said that. That's right. Biden 100% said that. I absolutely remember that now. I'm looking at Eric K's always DMing me stuff. Let's see what he's got here. Oh, here's the Biden. Here's the tall Biden that people were talking about. So this is tall Biden. Okay, let's see here. So why does Biden look so much taller and walk so much more smoothly after his address tonight? Something's amiss. All is not as it seems. I'm not convinced this is him. I mean, the angle is probably the issue there, but I've seen the theories about Jim Carrey, it being Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey playing Biden. He does look taller, though. He does. I mean, the angle is one thing, but he does look taller. I'm not even going to deny that. It's Jim Carrey, man. All right, let's see if we can find this where he said he had cancer. I'm sure somebody can tag me in it. Yeah, he 100% said that. I forgot all about that until your super chat. Bubba Doom says, I started the stream after seeing your post on X. Have they explained why they've come to this conclusion? Nope. Not that I know of. Not that I know of. By the way, I have started, because I told you guys I would start doing this because of notifications. So I have started tweeting over from my CobraCast 199 when I go live. So if you haven't followed this account, if when I go live, I tweet out this and then I retweet it from my D-Day Cobra channel or my D-Day Cobra account. So if you want an extra line of notifications for when I go live, you can follow this account right here. Just to be clear. Okay, let me see if my notifications, if anybody's tagged me in that yet. Let's see. Do you have a timestamp, Dinus? Let's see. I know you just tagged me in it, but I don't. At the Clean Energy Summit, but I need a timestamp because I can't go through that. Right here it is. So if we can get a timestamp for that, because I don't want to sit there and watch the whole thing. That's going to be interesting because now he 100% said this, bro. 100% said he had cancer. That was 2022. So I'll keep an eye out on that. D-Day Cobra, Joe Biden says he has cancer in awkward speech slip up from the Daily Telegraph on YouTube. Let me see if I can search this out. Here, let me copy and paste what you said. Okay. Copy, search. Here it is right here. Got it. Thank you, Granola Grin. All right, here we go.
You had to put on your windshield wipers to get literally the oil slick off the window. That's why I and so damn many other people I grew up have cancer.
What did I say? This is from 2022. One more time.
You had to put on your windshield wipers to get literally the oil slick off the window. That's why I and so damn many other people I grew up have cancer.
That's all the confirmation I needed right there to confirm my suspicion.
You had to put on your windshield wipers to get literally the oil slick off the window. That's why I and so damn many other people I grew up have cancer.
They've been lying to you for as long as we can remember.
Hey, everyone. I'm Joe Biden's husband. You had to put on your windshield. Hey, everyone. I'm Joe Biden's husband.
Fucking hell, bro. I can't believe they've been prancing this dude around for years, and you weren't allowed to question anything about him. Yikes. Lying Dogface Pony Soldier says Trump's team and families could all be under extortion. Protect them and clear the swamp. Well said. Fantastic Knox says it's as if Cash and Dan lost their balls. Lying Dogface Pony Soldier says Trump's team and families may need to stay on a military base to be safe. Aaron says, as Jeff Foxworthy and Bill Engvall say, and here's your sign. Pat Patriot says, I finished season 2 of The Apprentice this week. It's 20 years old, but that is the exact same man I voted for. Great show. I am so happy people are able to experience The Apprentice. Again, I will continue to urge you. It's on Amazon, The Apprentice and The Celebrity Apprentice. Best show on TV. It's fantastic. It's awesome. Everybody should be watching it. It's so damn good. I love it. Bill Dozer says, Patel sounding like Douglas Murray. Have you been there? Fucking trash. Both of them. Abolish the intel agencies. Rescott says something winter of death. Yes, exactly. So that's going to end it for me, guys. I just want to do a quick stream telling you about the latest with Joe Biden. I think is Ryan live? Can somebody confirm if Ryan is live already? Let's see. Or is he going to go live soon? So when is Ryan going live? I'm going to be playing games tonight. So live in 30. Okay. I will raid Ryan's stream because I owe him because he's raided me a few times. So if Ryan's not live, I'll hang for another 30 minutes. How about that? If Ryan's not live, I'll wait. You want to go 30 more minutes? 30 more minutes. All right. 30 more minutes. How many of you left? I bet you I just lost like 500 people because I said I was leaving. 30 more minutes. We're staying live, okay? We're staying live until Ryan goes live. How about that? Okay? Deal. Okay. There we go. All right. See, I just lost 200 viewers. Fuck. I shouldn't have said anything. I just lost like 200 viewers. Fuck. Everybody's got to get back in here. Y'all got to comment. Everybody's got to comment. Get the algorithm boosted. We lost 300 viewers. Fuck. I know how to get people back. I know how to get people back. All right. Come on back, everybody. We're going another 30 minutes. We're going another 30 minutes. Chris Whiting! Chris Whiting! You see what happens when you bring Sydney Sweeney? Chris just dropped a proper 199. Let's go. A proper 199. Sydney Sweeney, please. And thank you. Hail Trump and hail the 199 crew.
I'm so happy you love the first drop of my collection of Frankie's bikinis. We have more dreamy pieces coming our way. So tap to sign up for early access so you can get more information.
Should I do it?
Do not come.
Come on, baby. Come on. I'm gonna do it.
Do not come.
I'm gonna come. Beautiful white paint. It's coming down at 10,000 miles an hour. It's coming down at levels of speed that nobody ever even conceived of. Where it's rough, but it's coming and now it's turned around. It turns around and it's coming and it's gonna, I said, oh, because you see at that bottom, this section right here, that sucker's, oh.
There we go. Okay, so we're going to go another 30 minutes. If you're just tuning in, which many of you left because I said I was ending the stream because I'm retarded, but if you're just tuning in, former President Joe Biden has been diagnosed with an aggressive form of prostate cancer. I said immediately off rip that I don't believe this to be true in terms of the timing. I do not deny that he has cancer. I deny the timing of the story. I am now 100% vindicated in that because we just found this clip right here back in 2022, which I remember this clip making the rounds, but Joe Biden admits in 2022 that he had cancer. So this is the post right here that initially got traction, at least for me. I saw, and I follow ALX. He's great. I then responded to Nick Sorto, and my initial response was, I'm not going to celebrate anyone being diagnosed with cancer, but I also am not going to be blindly believe news coming from people that have lied to us for over a decade. If anything, I would believe they've known he's had it for longer than they're saying, but for some reason, they feel it's convenient to drop this information now. And with that, we find this clip right here.
You had to put on your windshield wipers to get literally the oil slick off the window. That's why I and so damn many other people I grew up have cancer.
So there you have Joe Biden admitting in 2022 that he had cancer. Now, my reason for believing that they've dropped this information now is because of the damning tapes, the audio tapes that were released yesterday that prove that Joe Biden was completely not in charge of this country when he was president. And not only was he not in charge, they wanted you to believe that this man could run the country for another 4 years. That's what they wanted you to believe. But he was not even qualified to run it in 2020. And in fact, the man was declining long before that. I mean, he's always been an idiot. Joe Biden's always been an idiot. But they're going for the sympathy card right now because they don't want you questioning all of the things that are happening with the Biden administration and the things that are being uncovered. They don't want anyone questioning that. Let's see. Holy crap. This is completely unrelated, so I do apologize. But you know, I'm a fan of racing, not racist. Well, racist too, but racing. And my boy Tony Stewart won today, and he is the top fuel points leader. Tony Stewart is the greatest race car driver of all time. He is now in NHRA. Former IndyCar champion, former NASCAR champion, former Triple Crown champion, sprints, midgets, dirt cars. Now this motherfucker is leading the points in NHRA. This is stupid. If you follow racing, you have to be in awe of Tony Stewart's ability to drive any fucking car better than anyone. It's absolutely stupid. Tony Stewart is the GOAT. He's the most I hate the word diversity, but he's the most diverse race car driver ever because he can drive any fucking thing and he can win in anything. The only thing he hasn't won in is Formula One. He'll probably do that. So anyway, that's beside the point right now. Yeah, man, dude is insane. Home Depot driver in NASCAR. Yes, he was the number 20 when he raced for Joe Gibbs Racing. Then he went on to own his own team, and he drove the number 14. He won a championship in the 14 and the 20, three-time NASCAR champion. I used to passionately follow NASCAR. I followed F1 a little bit back in the day. I can't stomach F1 anymore, mainly because of Lewis Hamilton, who's a piece of shit. And with NASCAR, I can't stomach it because of Bubba fucking Wallace. I think Bubba Wallace is the worst person in all of sports, and that speaks volumes. But Bubba Wallace is a horrible person. I can't stand Bubba Wallace. He has TDS. He hates Trump. He hates NASCAR fans. He hates traditional NASCAR fans. Bubba Wallace has been a true disease to NASCAR. I don't want to go off on a rant about how bad things are in racing, but Tony Stewart being a points leader in Top Fuel is absolutely stupid. Let's see. Pat Patriot says, I finished season. Oh, got that one. Rescott, I got that one. Dread Legion says, you heard it here, folks. Poor guy is only married to himself. Maybe he had his left hand wearing a wedding ring to further symbolize his newfound marriage. Good old Joe Biden. God, he said that a lot, too, by the way. That I'm Jill Biden's husband. Mark Vialli says, George the Giant Slayer just started. Hail George the Giant Slayer. Too Tired says, let's talk about the attack on the Brooklyn Bridge. We could talk about that. I actually have a couple of bookmarks for that. It's pretty interesting because there's been oh God, I got to show you this meme first. I know Joe Biden, but it's still a funny meme. Here we go.
Without what you do. And don't you forget it. Without what you do.
I love the internet. I love the internet. I'm going through bookmarks. This was, I saw this one earlier right here.
They're like throwing it up. How was your breakfast today? What kind of ice cream are you having? It's vanilla. It's vanilla and chocolate. Oh, great. Nobody ever asked me what flavor ice cream I'm eating. Okay.
I was like, no one ever asked me what flavor ice cream I'm eating. And he sounds so upset by it. He's like, I just want to, why can't people ask me what flavor ice cream I want? Oh, it's great. It's so great. Okay, so my official, you guys want to know about my official statement on the Brooklyn Bridge? This will be my official statement right here. I'm a Mexican naval captain. I'm fucking retard who couldn't avoid hitting the Brooklyn Bridge. That's my official statement. Woo! There's always a meme. Always a meme. No, but let me see. I've got some video of it though. It's actually crazy, man. So here it is. An absolutely stunning modern metaphor. A ship blaring Mexican music and flying a massive Mexican flag just got destroyed by the Brooklyn Bridge. You can't make this up. That is wild, to say the least. I think I got a couple more angles here. I got to go through my bookmarks and see, but welcome to DEI right there. That's pretty much DEI in a nutshell. Is this another one? Let's see here. Alex Jones posted that.
To watch it crash into the Brooklyn Bridge. It's totally crashing. Look, the sails are hitting it.
Dude, that is scary though. Like the fact that there's so many cars on that bridge. Now, from what I understand, there was no real damage to the bridge, if I'm not mistaken. But you know, that is scary to see how many cars are on that bridge and how bad that could have been.
Look. Oh my God.
What is going on?
Oh my God.
What is going on?
To watch it crash into the Brooklyn Bridge.
Got a kid there. Goodness gracious.
Holy crap.
You're gonna hit the dock. The camera. What is going on? Oh, what?
I'm glad no one, well, at least from what I understand, no one was hurt, but it's really hard to not laugh at the irony of the situation. It really is. 2 crew members died. Well, fuck. Well, it's still funny.
Dude, the bridge is shaking out there. We gotta keep moving. This is insane. Holy crap. Dude, there's people up there.
Again, I'll go back to the same argument I have for little Ben Shapiro. If you love Mexico so much, why the fuck aren't you there? If you love Mexico so much, why the fuck aren't you there? Why do you come to America to celebrate your country that you clearly don't want to fucking be in? I've never understood that.
There's literally people. This is insane. No.
So there you go. Is Gary in the chat? What's up, Gary? I do genuinely it's obviously sucks that people passed away. But I can't help, I can't not laugh at the irony of the situation with the DEI involved with the situation. You're celebrating a fucking country that you clearly don't want to be in. You want to be in America. That's fine. Come here legally, and you can fly the American flag when you're in America. If you love Mexico so much, take your ass back over there and fucking fly your Mexico flag all day long. I'm not going to go to another country and just wave my American flag around. It's just so stupid and disrespectful in my opinion. So, but whatever. Let's see here. Too Tired says, I got that one. You got all of that out of me for a $2 super chat, by the way. Congrats. That's money well spent. That's money well spent. Very nice. Saren Loth says, I'm watching from the beginning of the stream. He might do the dead man gimmick to protect his administration and family from prosecution. I mean, I'm sure a lot of that is heading their way for sure. Crazy Clown Town says, Jeremy, did you know Can Man streams that you should mod for him? Who's Can Man? I don't know who that is. Modest Rat on Rumble says, Jeremy, you gay. What's with the random streams? Well, like I said, the tail end of the week, I'm going to be busy with some park hopping stuff down in Orlando. So I don't know how much I'm going to be able to stream CobraCast because I'll be busy with, but I will be live streaming on park hopping. So I'm trying to make up for it now that I'm here and I have the time because we're going to be at the opening of Epic Universe. And that's going to be a wild day, to say the least. Mexican Iron Man in the house. My people are not great sailors, not great engineers either. We do make great sombreros. But hail the 199, hail America, and hail fearless leader Jeremy. America and Trump 2028. I fucking love Mexican Iron Man. That's my favorite super chat of the day. Hail Mexican Iron Man. Appreciate you, brother. You got me on that one. Woo! Beastie Band says President Trump just posted about Biden's cancer. Did he? On True Social? Let's see here. Truth Social. Let's see here. Okay, here's Trump on True Social. Melania and I are saddened to hear about Joe Biden's recent medical diagnosis. We extend our warmest and best wishes to Jill and the family, and we wish Joe a fast and successful recovery. There you go. President Trump, keeping it classy, which he often does. He often is a very, very classy individual. So well done, President Trump. Steel Leg of History says, update on my day, Jeremy. You mean dad, probably. He is starting to feed himself and everything else starting to show signs of improvements. Thanks for the prayers. Be blessed. Hey, I'm happy to hear that, brother. Family is important. As a matter of fact, speaking of that, because I know Steel Leg of History, you talked about your dad. Let me find a tweet really quick. Our very own Krista Nova tweeted this out today. Woke up to news of my dad who was rushed to the hospital. He dislocated his shoulder and was having troubles breathing. Doctor said the distance he fell could have been super damaging or even fatal. He's okay and resting. So prayers up for Krista and her family. I'm sure she would appreciate any well wishes you guys were willing to offer. So Steel Leg of History, well wishes for you and your dad as well. So yeah, man. Dads are important, to say the least. Dads are important. Hail to the dads out there. Just a dude on the phone says, and he owns Eldora. Love living 30 minutes from there. Yes, Tony Stewart owns Eldora Speedway, the famous Eldora Speedway. I just think he's the greatest race car driver of all time. You could make some arguments about F1 drivers for sure. Senna, Michael Schumacher, others. But I think in terms of just like his ability to drive and win in any type of car at the highest level, I don't think anybody is as good as Tony Stewart. I really don't. Jimmy Ray says, if you hate a NASCAR driver, does that make you racist? According to the internet, yes. So I'll take it. Taker says, put the bail rant over the Mexican footage. Eric Guidewall for 50 says, with the news of Joe Biden's health, the left would be celebrating if Trump had a bad report on his health. 1,000%. As I've already predicted, they're going to, and you can look for this now, especially on Blue Sky, they're going to be saying that why couldn't it be Trump? Why couldn't this be Trump? They're going to be saying that all over social media. 100%. Go ahead and book it. It's going to happen. It's already happening. But we already know how how they operate. Brian Stewart says, best ice cream flavor, poll, cookies and cream. You want me to do a poll? Let's see. Ice cream flavor. I'll do it. I might as well. Ice cream. So you got vanilla, chocolate, strawberry, and you say cookies and cream. I guess I'll just put cookies and cream. Let's see. Boom, boom, boom. All right, vanilla, chocolate, strawberry, cookies and cream. I only have 4 options. There you go. So let's see if how you guys. I mean, I think that, like, based on my audience, I have a hard time believing vanilla won't win. I'm not sure if that applies to ice cream, but my chocolate, I would vote for chocolate ice cream is my favorite, though. Chocolate ice cream is my favorite. The horror host says the ship was here for the 250th anniversary of the 4th of July. Other countries are sent their tall ships as well. The list is sail forth. Yeah, I'm probably being really harsh, but what do you want, So Joseph becomes a new member. Thank you. Demogenize says, bro, as a Brooklyn native, that's crazy. Do you know how high that bridge is? The F are those masts so damn high? I know. Like, I guess like the question is, so that thing came, where did it come from? Or you saying it originated from Mexico? Is that what people are saying? Grant Potato says, how many Mexicans does it take to run a ship? 1. Andy Plays Games says, best F1 driver was Mario Lopez. So right now it's very close. Vanilla at 29%, chocolate at 27%, strawberry 14%, cookies and cream takes the lead at 29%. Now it's tied between vanilla and cookies cream with chocolate at 27%. This is one of the closest polls we've ever run. Southeastern Kaiju says, now I want ice cream, damn it. That's what we do around here. Let's see. Rocky Road. I honestly, I can't, I don't eat that much ice cream anymore. I get brain freezes. I don't know if it's because I eat it too fast or not, but I just don't eat a lot of ice cream anymore because of brain freezing. It drives me, I just can't process it anymore. I don't know why. So like brain freeze is the worst thing ever. Now I'm lucky enough to not, I don't get migraines or headaches or anything like that. That's something I've never really gotten, but a brain freeze fucks me up, man. But I don't know if I've ever had a migraine headache ever. I don't think I've ever had one. Let me see. Davey versus what the fuck did I walk into? Sounds gay. We're talking about ice cream. Okay, we're at 580 votes. I'm going to stop it at 700 votes. Right now, vanilla is winning 31% to 27% over cookies and cream and 28% for chocolate. So get those votes in. I won't be surprised if white wins with this audience. You ever seen cats get a brain freeze? No. Not sure I want to. Let's see here. Let's see what if I can find it. All right, so let's see what Lord Vader thinks about it. Lord Vader, can you give us a tier list of ice cream?
A tier list of colors. Michael Myers. A curious request. White is acceptable. Brown, the color of mud and decay, is beneath notice. Yellow is reminiscent of cowardice. Does this satisfy your childish curiosity?
Oh, God, that never gets old, bro. It never gets old. It's so good. All right, we're almost at 700 votes, and we are now at 700. Poll is over, and in the least shocking result of all time, vanilla wins in a CobraCast chat. Can't say I'm surprised. Chocolate with 28%, cookies and cream at 25%, strawberry at 13%. There are your results right there. Hemorrhoid Hurt says, heard the joke about vag flavored ice cream. I have not. Piano Dean says, racing talk reminds me of the Roadrunner. That's almost all you need right there. The what? Running. The where? Roads. The why? Aha. Now we begin. And there you have it. So again, tonight I will be live on my D-Day Cobra Gaming channel. I'm sure I'll have the same crew as I had last night. We had a great stream over there. I think we had like 7 wins out of 11 matches. It was awesome, awesome night of gaming. So we'll do it up again. It'll be a lot of fun. Brian is getting ready to go live, so I'm going to raid RK Outpost. And if you guys want to go hang out with him until we go live a little bit later tonight. And also, if you're not a part of the Geeks and Gamers 199 on locals, you can go over there. I think they're live right now covering the PGA today. So if you want to go hang out with them, you can. Other than that, I'm going to leave you there. I'll see all of you for gaming over on my D-Day Cobra Gaming channel tonight. And don't forget to subscribe to D-Day Cobra Clips. So anytime there's a CobraCast and you missed any of it, you can get the breakdown of the segments over there. Danky does a good job of getting those up rather quickly. Richard Waring says, had my eye taken out about 15 years ago. Now I want to eat ice cream instead of brain freeze. I get phantom eye freeze 10 times worse. Ouch. Damn. That's crazy, brother. Ugh. Now you want ice cream. We all want ice cream now. Thank you. And I'm sorry to hear that, brother. Let's see. There's the D-Day Cobra clips right there. So if you guys want to subscribe to that, if you miss anything, you can. Go say hello to Ryan. Have a good evening. And we'll talk to all of you later. Bye, everyone.